What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to your daily creative message for Friday. It's May 6th, and I'm trying to get my wires all crossed here and uncrossed. This is your daily creative message, so let's dive right in. So I'd like to invite the angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space, and I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. All right, so we're going to use the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle card deck to pull the first kind of overview and themes for this reading. Get an idea of where we're headed here. Spirit, can I get some messages for my daily creatives for May 6th, please? May 6th, please. Thank you so much. Oh, my roommate's cat has a whole lot to say, but he can't get into the basement. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's very disappointed. I shouldn't laugh, but it's just so cute. So, what would your higher self do? What would your higher self do? And we also have, oh, I like this one, Trip the Light, fantastic. And you are invited. Suit up, show up, and open up. Suit up, show up, and open up. So Trip the Light, fantastic. What would your higher self do? You are divinity in blue jeans. You are invited. It's almost like you're remembering what it feels like to dance with that divine essence that you are. Yeah, remembering what it feels like to dance in and with the divine essence that you are. So I'm trying to make sure the wires don't get crossed there. There we go. Spirit, can I get some messages for my wonderful daily creatives let me pull this up so you can see those cards there. There we go. You can see the wire going across, but that's fine. It's not important. What messages do you have for my daily creative, Spirit? May 6th. 3 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles, Emperor, the Moon, 3 of Wands, Strength. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like it a lot. 10 of Swords, Page of Wands, 5 of Swords, 3 of Cups. I'm going to pull one more here. 9 of Wands. Oh, Ace of Swords. Okay. I think this is really about integrating learning here, my lovely daily creative. So we have 3 of Swords and 5 of Pentacles. So 3 of Swords, I get that there was definitely this... you're in this energy. Maybe something didn't work out the way you wanted, or there's something that hasn't been working. I'm getting this, like, it's almost like this is like an illusion. Like, this isn't real. Like, there's something that isn't, like, you're not seeing that this is happening in your mind, right? A projection of this is something that's happening mentally, as opposed to what's actually happening or what has happened. So this is you kind of starting with, and it could just be like starting the day being like, ugh, I just need to like get out of this like grumpy place that I'm in, like this crusty ass place that I'm in. And then you step into this Emperor energy. The flip side of which can be that sort of unsteady energy, but I get that you're stepping into a sense of power. So if there's little speed bumps that happen today along the way, just let them happen. Roll with it. Don't let them detract from your sense of personal power here, or your sense of, power at work or in your relationship or whatnot, right? And relationship power is to be shared, right? So just remembering that, power with, not power over. And then we also have the Moon card. This is interesting because it's showing up in the position of things that could become a tower if we're not attentive to them. So I'm getting that this is like the illusion, right? Like this sense of illusion about not just what is actually happening here, but it's also like it's almost like we're projecting a loss that isn't happening, We're projecting a sense of loss about something that it's not actually true. So this is just a little shift. Like, just realign your perspective and you'll be fine. I don't get this to be like a tower. I don't see a tower here. And based on the abundance of minor arcana here, but you're showing up as the emperor, I get this to mean that I take this to mean that this is just a thought process, specific because we started with swords and we're ending on the Ace of Swords. So this is really just taking a breather if things become overwhelming today. Three of Wands is positive expectation. This is your antagonist. No, this is your protagonist position. So this is your protagonist position in the spread. So I think positive expectation is where is a good place for you to be in right now. Now, the antagonist is showing up as strength, which this is Leo energy. So this can be that you are focusing heavily on, you're focusing too much on pleasure. You're focusing too much on a sense of play when there may be a need to take responsibility. But this can also mean in antagonist energy that there's a sense of, 555 on the time. There's a sense of overconfidence. That positive expectation, don't let it get to this point of Neptunian fantasy where you're very disconnected from seeing the possibilities, right? The moon card is the thing that can become a tower. Like, we're not seeing the truth of something, we're seeing what we project onto it. So I think that this Three of Wands is a call for positive expectation without overconfidence. And overconfidence, not like, it's really challenging to say, as someone who's struggled to in the past get to a place of confidence, when people say don't be overconfident, I'm like, do you understand who you're talking to? Like, but this is more boasting. This is being in like a bragging energy. This is a call to be a little bit more humble and humble about your belief that what's actually happening here. Right. So just to take a step back, because this is fire energy. We have Leo and Aries, right? So this is also, there's Aries so this Mars energy is very active this month as well. So this is potentially a call just to be mindful of the times where we can rush to assumptions based on things we think are true. Three of Swords, Five of Pentacles, about not having, about not getting, about lack, about things we've experienced before, right? This is just sort of like, it's almost like just polishing the mirror, right? Polishing the mirror through which we see the world, and just staying humble about that and understanding that there's things we don't know, which account for this sort of bouncing back and back into our emperor selves from this Three of Swords and Five of Pentacles. Now, the main challenge today is the Ten of Swords. So this Ten of Swords to me is about giving up on that process. This is about surrender, right? This to me is a surrender to the process. This is a surrender. And this is really stepping into that humility, right? Humble, a lot of people confuse humble and use it in a way that is finger pointing to say, how dare you feel strong? How dare you feel confident? How dare you discomfort me with your confidence? Right? That's what people sometimes confuse humble for. Humility is just the admitting that you don't know all the answers. And it is never really, you can't use it in an accusatory way. So I think what you're stepping into is like true humility here, but an inward facing humility, right? An inward facing humility, because you're taking that step back and saying, okay, I don't know. And this has been way too much work to try and figure it out on my own. So like, I'm giving it up. And this is where I think that by doing that, you're avoiding a tower where there's this illusion coming crashing in. The pink moon is also the Libra full moon that we just went through in April as well. So there could be themes. So think back to that time period potentially, and think of some themes that, that may have come up that you set intentions to release, or that you released, in fact. But clarifying this Ten of Swords, this beautiful energy. I'm just pointing this out here. Ace of Wands. Right? So you do let go, and there's a sense of freedom here. And this is, creative sparks. This is, this is also, if you're in a connection already, or you're on a project, or in a project, or at work, this is like intensifying your dedication and passion for that work. So this is like your ability to manifest anything right now. right? This is you manifesting anything and everything. This is like the interconnectedness of everything. So this is like a sense of oneness that you're returning to when you get into that place of surrender. And then this Five of Swords here is very interesting because surrender, some people call, and I'm thinking about this as like people saying that you might be spiritual bypassing, or that you might have thoughts of like, is this actually doing the work? Is this bypassing? And I don't know. But I think that this is you needing to understand that you're not bypassing by doing this. Sometimes we have to surrender what feels out of our reach because it is out of our reach. And the more meaning we try to make out of something, or the more knowledge that we try to obtain from something that we're really not meant to see yet, we can feel like it gets into a place that throws us into a disconnect. So it's understanding what is and is not, in fact, that feeling, this could also just be feeling manipulated as well, right? Like feeling manipulated. Five of Swords is that sort of win at all costs card. And I think that we're learning lessons about this more than this being a reappearance of this. I think that we're learning lessons about this, and that this is you reflecting, the reflection on here. This is you reflecting on the way that has affected you, and how that has kind of disconnected you from your true source, right? From spirit. So I think this is just you doing that reflecting and understanding that you don't need to see things through that light. So that's, to me, this is a release, right? This is the release. This is the physical surrender. This is the physical manifestation of the, I give up, right? And then we have the Page of Wands, and then I think the Five of Swords is you stepping into that lesson from this, where you're like, okay, what did I learn now? And then after that, there's this beautiful Three of Cups, Nine of Wands, right? So this celebratory letting go, where you're like, wow, I didn't need to carry this. Look at me in my own power. And I almost get the Nine of Wands is almost like I'm hearing like a pre-emperor energy, right? Which is weird. The Nine of Pentacles is the pre-empress energy. So I almost feel like the Nine of Wands is the pre-emperor energy, because we're learning lessons about our own power. We're learning lessons about our own capacity, our own creativity, our own strength of will. This is going from surviving to truly thriving. So I think that the thriving is here, and this is just a reminder, right? This is a reminder that you have something to celebrate by stepping into this knowing and this awareness here. And so this is just a little story, I think, of finding yourself not in the weeds a little bit, but maybe in the weeds a bit. But then this Ace of Voices, so Ace of Swords comes in and just cuts through the illusion and cuts through it all, and you're back on top and you're back in your game. Sometimes, I was mistaken for saying that the Mercury retrograde is on or about the 16th. It was more so the 10th of May, but I'm getting that there's something about how these things can, there's like the shadow periods beforehand. So it officially kicks off in on the 10th, and I'm getting that there may be some things that it's a little wobble, right? There's no need to approach Mercury retrogrades from like, oh no, what? Certainly there's going to be, energy to surf, but, we all come equipped with surfboards and the capacity to do so. And honestly, I've found that, was I appreciative of the time that I had a Mercury retrograde last year and my laptop blew on the first day? No, but, there was so much that I learned from Mercury retrogrades, so keep that in mind as well, that this is all just in service to our learning and growth, right? So I'm going to clarify with the Smith-Waite Tarot here. Oops, I'm going to put this deck over here. I'm going to clarify with the Smith-Waite Tarot. Spirit, can I get some messages to clarify this sort of shedding the Five of Swords and stepping into this Three of Cups and Nine of Wands, leaving behind, but in a celebratory way. See, and I almost, from this card, I really enjoy this particular deck because it's so evocative, but it's like there's an Ace of Pentacles behind, right? There's an Ace of Pentacles right behind this sort of small celebratory energy of letting go and standing in the truth of what's most important to you emotionally. Like, that is your why, right? That's why you want to do something. And so I think that is very important for you. And then we had the Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Oh my goodness. And then the King of Wands. I'm going to just do this here. Knight of Pentacles, Two of Swords. Wow, the wheel. Okay. The wheel has been featuring so prominently in some of these readings. I'm getting that there are some energies either headed your way or in your vicinity. And I think this is all really, it may throw you for a bit of a loop, right? This is that sort of swords indecision energy. The Two of Swords, though, is really beautiful energy in terms of, this is you weighing options. This is in this particular energy. I get this being the path to take right now is not taking action, considering the details, taking a step back, observing without absorbing, right? We're not reacting to something. We're not taking it in. And I think this is going to be in very good service to, I feel like you are in a King of Wands energy and you're stepping into this place of, or you already are in this place of very creative leadership. This is also knowing what you want. And I think that this is the slow approach towards it. So I think that this is a really calculated approach towards something that means a lot to you, but that you feel very passionately about, that you feel passionately for, that you really want to move towards. So this can be work, a project. This can even be a way of doing things in your relationship as it stands now, right? So we're stepping into that place. And this Two of Swords energy, I really get that this is like the question, like, what would your higher self do? What would your higher self do? Right? And asking yourself that question today and in the coming days too. What would my higher self do or say about this? Right? What would my higher self do? And I think that's where this invitation comes into play. Like you're invited to ask this question of yourself and your world right now. And I think that is something that is going to prove quite expansive for you. And to make things less, it's going to bring things back into your grasp and feel less like in this Piscean, like illusion energy. You're going to be able to cut through illusions, not just that people present to you, but also your own through your emotional world. And that is, that's where you get into this, what is most important to you. And this can just be asking a question, like given the minor arcana present here, I'm getting that this is really a call to tend to the everyday ways that you need to ask yourself this question of what's most important to me today. What would my higher self do today? Sometimes we take a big picture, right? Like if there were more major arcana and cards like this here, because these are clarifier cards, I would say that this is like big processes. But this is just, I'm getting the impression that this is the everyday way that we're putting bigger things that have changed or are changing into spiritual practice every day, right? So it's understanding that energy too. So we have the Three of Swords, Ten of Swords, Page of Wands. Spirit, can I get some clarification on these particular cards here, please? And thank you so much. Four of Wands, Two of Wands, Hanged Man. There's that Piscean Neptune energy, and Queen of Wands. I think part of the path that you're on right now is not having all the answers. So the Four of Wands is contract energy, like new things coming in, right? So this to me is like new contracts either being solidified or new ways of doing the existing contracts. So I'm thinking soul contracts, but this can also represent projects, right? So if we're bringing them in, this is the thing about Mercury retrograde energy is just needing to tend to the details. And minor arcana are all about the details, right? They are all about the details. So I think that this is really a focus, a refocusing, and just considering all the details and taking things slowly, having the plan, putting it into place, very steadfast energy. Very interesting that there's different ways that this energy, so this energy of the Queen of Wands, Hanged Man, and Two of Wands is mirrored almost beautifully, really, in the King of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. So if you do have a counterpart in your life, if you have a relationship, or if you have someone that you're interested in, or if this is a project that you're working on and there are people on the team, I think that this is like mirroring energy, like you're mirroring one another. And this tells me that you're kind of on the same page with the way that this should be going or needs to be going. Like you're all recognizing the need to temper the rush towards solution with a pullback and looking at the details. Because again, almost the same cards here, and the wheel is here on that expansion. So this is how this is going to help you to grow the most today and in the coming week ahead. I know it's Friday, but still. still. So just paying close attention to the details, not being a stickler for them necessarily, but just understanding that it may save you some heartbreak, and surrendering to the fact that you don't need to know every corner and detail of a project for it to still have an impact and be meaningful is vitally important right now. So we have the Five of Pentacles, the Moon, Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Queen of Cups, one more, Eight of Pentacles. So this is about you moving away from those frustrations and understanding this sort of ebb and flow, this give and take, this Six of Pentacles energy. It's like this sharing gifts. I think that slowing things down is going to allow you to really share in the gifts that you have in abundance with others, right? And this could be in a relationship. This could be, sharing sweet moments with one another. This could be sharing sweet memories with one another. There's no Six of Cups here, so that was interesting. But nonetheless, right? So how are we showing up? Are we showing up in like a needing to like rush through energy to avoid like a Three of Swords, or because we don't want to think of a Five of Pentacles scenario where we're trying to avoid that feeling? This is about coming back into a more balanced place where we're coming from, not just a truth, not just an Ace of Swords here, but also from the truth of the heart. Like what is most important to us from the heart space, right? That heart-centered energy. This is also emotional intelligence, right? Like we are able to give more freely and openly from that emotional intelligence. It's like from that aligned place. Like this is where resources and heart align. And then, we see the Queen of Cups here and the Eight of Pentacles, where this is like you're really sinking into some heart-centered work here. This could be shadow work that you're doing, but I'm getting more that this is related to projects and things that you might be working on. And again, even in relationship, like if there's things that you've wanted to do, this doesn't just have to represent like the grinding work. Like this can represent industrious, right? Like not cutting corners, your dedicated attention, the methodical approach, sharpening your skills. This is someone who enjoys the work that they do, and it's coming from a heart-centered place. So it's almost like sinking into that and remembering what you love about what you do. I'm getting remembering energy here a lot. So this is I think that this is the additional energy to focus on. And like, why do you love to do what you do, right? Like, why do you love to do what you do? I think it's going to pull you out of this Five of Pentacles place. If you slip into that at any point today or in the coming days and the next Mercury retrograde period. Let me see if there's too much of a glare. Maybe not. I'll try. I moved so that I could sit beside the window and enjoy some sunlight. As you can tell, it kind of creeps in, so I'll just leave it. It's fine. So we have the Seven of Pentacles. I think another one flipped out, did it? No. So we have the Seven of Pentacles on the Emperor and the Three of Wands. I think it's patience is not my strong suit, but I think this is a call for a little bit of it, right? A little bit, right? A call for just a little bit more at patience, but also, taking the long-term view and remembering that this is something or someone that's worth your time and energy. Remembering that this doesn't, like, it's not like an overnight thing. Like, this is diligence. Like, it can feel like you're watching paint dry or you're waiting for water to boil. But like, this is also freeing up your energy with the understanding that what you're investing your time in and that positive expectation is worth your time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it so much, right? And if you are doing it so much, then, I would look at more like in this row, if there's like, yeah, it doesn't strike me in this particular spread as something that is a waste of your time. And impatience is sometimes because we have so much invested in something and we so enjoy how much time and energy we're putting into something. So it's like, it's understanding the flip side of that, and that this is something worth your time, right? Three of Wands is like that positive expectation card. Ooh, interesting. So we have Death, the Devil, Ace of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. So I think this is really about, I think this particular aspect of things, this like, is it worth my time? I think the answer is yes, but I think that there's some transforming of self-worth that we're going through, right? Death is like this beautiful transformation. I see it as like regenerative energy, this like knowing what to release, this inner purging, this transformation. It's also Scorpio energy. So I think this could relate to the Scorpio full moon coming up as well, where you're releasing these ideas of like, is something worth my time? Well, are there better questions we can ask about the effort that we've put forward and the thing that we're really needing laying under the surface of that question? Like, are there better questions to ask that will provide, that will be more fruitful, that will give us more yield to yield in the way of inspiration? Because I'm seeing the inspiration, the Page of Wands here, right? But what stories are we telling ourselves that really need to go? What stories are we telling ourselves that need to go? Because we have the 10 of Swords here in this particular, like today. So like, what stories about, things that are inconvenient to us, or, our why, what stories have to go? And the Knight of Cups is here, I think, as this like this heartfelt message that you're sending yourself. This to me strikes me, it strikes me decidedly as self-care in this particular spread, where whatever comes your way today, remember to see yourself through the eyes of compassion that you so often give to other people, right? Like, we talk about giving other people the benefit of the doubt, but how often do we do that for ourselves and really take a look at ourselves through that view of compassion and light and that appreciation, that love, right? It doesn't always happen that way. So, Spirit, can I get some clarification on this Strength card, please? Justice, King of Swords, King of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, there it is again. Hierophant. So we have some Taurian energy and Libran energy, which is also Venus energy. So this is really about what you love. There's like this Ace of Cups, like that, this like enduring appreciation and love for something. Like, it is worth your time. I think you need to know that it is worth your time. And this is where we get very clear on what's right for us. We get what's very clear on what's right for us without there's a humility. This is a humble inquiry. The Strength card, right? We're going back to that, the first part where it was the humble, stay humble, this humility. This is humble inquiry. And what it does is it helps us to understand exactly what we need to do, and knowing what we need to do. And this is sort of this, Justice is showing up here as this validating energy of, yes, this is exactly right. Like, this is what this is the correct path for you, both spiritually, physically, and cognitively. Like, this is the right line of questions to ask, and the right approach in that humility as well. And then this is you showing up in this very powerful King of Swords and King of Pentacles energy, where you don't need to ask specific questions anymore, because you just have this very clear knowing about what to do next, what is most important to focus on next, right? That sense of that this is a well thought out approach as well, right? This is a well thought out approach as well, integrating the Mars energy and the Emperor, because the Emperor is the summation of all the kings in the deck. So, we're moving forward on what's most important to us, but in a different way, in Mars action, in that integrated clarity that we gain, right? And this is also loyalty and dedicated in terms of partners. And I think that this is like, are you showing up in a way that you value? Are you showing up in a way that that's important to you? So again, this little bit, it's almost like a little bit of a Mercury retrograde shadow pause, right? Like this, like, this pause before we dive into things differently. So I think it's like, you need to know that there's a clarity and investment that is worth your time. And I think that we have to, maybe there might be a way that we have to give up on the way we've always done things, or this sense of tradition over, clarity. Something about this here that needs to go a little bit. Like, this is like breaking free a little bit from the need to conform. This is breaking free from and challenging the status quo. And the status quo just doesn't apply only collectively. It applies to the way that the status quo has shown up in your life, right? So again, this little tiny pause has significant consequences, and good ones, right? And I think Trip the Light, fantastic. Dance with the Universe is really about that ebb and flow and rolling with the punches, right? Dancing with the Universe is about being able to pull back and just see things as they actually are for a hot minute. And again, right, like this Mars energy right in here, right? Like this is joyful Mars. Be in your joyful Mars, right? The joyful dance of Mars. That might be what this is titled. Even though this week, for some reason, they've been all planetary. It's fine. We'll roll with it. We'll lean into it. I'm going to pull from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection deck by Mike Dooley. Spirit, can I get some messages for my daily creatives for May 6th, please? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so, okay. You are destined for greatness on the wings of love. I like that message. That's very good. You are destined for greatness on the wings of love. To clarify, the primary roles of love are not to heal, fix, or mend, not to soothe, cure, or ease, not even to refresh, rejuvenate, or restore. Hardly. The primary roles of love are to yahoo, yeehaw, and woohoo. Get your love on, the universe. So this is also about seeing love very clearly, seeing projects very clearly. This is like that clear sight Ace of Swords, that truth, right? The King of Swords. We're seeing that things might be worth our time or are worth our time, but they may not be, aligned with what was, so we may not be able to recognize it right away. So this is where we need to take a pause on something. This could be an idea that someone has on a project and you're like, I don't know if we should do this. I don't know if we should do this because we've always done it this way here. And and being in that place of uncertainty, it can become a tower because no action is still an action, right? So all there is to love has been there all along. All there is to love has been there all along. This is, I think, a call to appreciate the moment and to be steeped in that present moment awareness and living in that present moment too. So I'm going to pull now from the Miracles Now deck by Gabrielle Bernstein to close out this reading. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? And thank you. Whoa, okay, so both of these then. Sometimes no is the most loving response. Yeah. And I think this is about saying no to ourselves when we are like, I gotta go, I gotta rush, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Sometimes saying no to that impulse is the best thing that you can do. And just taking things one step at a time and understanding that there's something to be said for savoring a process, for savoring, right? So I measure my success by how much fun I'm having. I measure my success by how much fun I'm having. So this is a lot. This is beautiful. Like, this is not prescriptive. You don't have to do it this way. But I get the impression that there's a call here to remember that there's something that's going to unfold really beautifully when we stay in gratitude, when we stay in that daily practice of gratitude and appreciation. And also when we measure our success by how much fun we're having. This is a call to step into more fun. This is a call to do things that are more fun and more loving for us, more loving of self, and calling the play out of other people, like teasing that curiosity out and that wonder and that sense of joy and fun, right? Very much this humble inquiry, but it is also proving instructive as well with Leo here. So my daily creatives, that was your reading for today. This is very exciting. Happy Friday. And if this resonated, please like and subscribe. It helps me to grow this channel. I absolutely love doing these messages and serving up some spiritual wisdom from Spirit. Shockingly spiritual wisdom from Spirit. But yeah, so there are other ways you can connect with me on the channel, so check those out. But if this is where we part, my daily creatives, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day ahead of you. Wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, I hope it finds you very well. Take care and have a great weekend. I will see you tomorrow, my friends. Take care.